Hello once again, welcome to the newsroom. Here's a summary of the news at this hour in Seychelles. The Ministry of Health has recorded about 46,000 people who have received both doses of vaccine against COVID-19. This is the Covishield and Sinopharm vaccine. Most vaccinations are taking place at the ICCS and Green Roof facility. Meanwhile, the vaccination campaign continues on Mahé and Pralin for people who has taken only their first dose. Also in the news this Wednesday, the Principal Secretary for Civil Aviation, Ports and Marine, Alain Renaud, says that Seychelles is the first and only country in Africa to use an electronic travel authorization system for passengers traveling into the country. This system was originally being used by passengers to submit their PCR test 72 hours before they travel in order to get the necessary clearance to enter the country. But it has now been extended to include other information.
New requirements for governments to put in place systems as part of the global cooperation on anti-money laundering, financial crime, terrorism, human trafficking, drugs, you name it. They've put new requirements for member states to put in place systems for collecting information from passengers and from airlines in advance of when they fly. Our new travel authorization system is described in Chapter 9 as electronic travel systems. There are three components. There's the electronic travel system, there's the advanced passenger information, and then passenger name record. All three of those, as of February 28, 2021, are now mandatory for states, or I should say the PNR and the APR are mandatory for states to have systems in place. We're now able to see people's previous itineraries. We're now able to see their history, other kinds of things to do risk assessment. So for you, the traveler, it was the same travel authorization as always. But what we did behind the scenes was work directly with the airlines to get that information and then marry the three of them together. Now we know. So when we see that somebody's travel authorization doesn't match their flight, it shows up as red. Once we started doing that, the other agencies started getting involved. So it became now more of a law enforcement tool.
And we'll have more details in our Creole Bulletin coming up at 8. The National Assembly has approved the amendments in 5 bills today. The first amendment was the Seychelles Bureau of Standard, Bill 2021. The main amendment involves the cutting down on the number of people who make up the Bureau's board of directors. With the new law, it's down to 7 members rather than 10. The Assembly also voted to repeal the law on the National Institute of Science, Technology and Innovation, also known as NISTI. The amendment to the law means that NISTI will now be a division in the Ministry of Investment, Entrepreneurship and Industry. The Minister for Investment, Entrepreneurship and Industry, Devika Vidot, noted that the previous legislation often specified that a director had to come from a certain institution. This has now been scrapped. The minister will nominate competent, abled and experienced people from any field related to standards. The president shall then choose from the candidates. The National Assembly also voted to abolish the board of directors of the Seychelles Investment Board. Discussions on the Seychelles Investment Amendment Bill in the general debate was rather short, lasting over 20 minutes. The amendments for all 3 bills were presented by the Minister for Investment, Entrepreneurship and Industry, Devika Vidot. The Productivity Unit under the Employment Department has started to conduct a series of educational programs with the staff from Enterprise Seychelles Agency, or ESA. The program is being conducted by Mrs. Marivonne Francis, who is responsible for Workers' Productivity Education Program. The Workers' Productivity Education Program is a continuous program with the main objectives to educate and sensitize both employer and employee on positive work attitude. Here's Ms. Francis.
This program is being addressed to employers and workers the topics that would be covered is we need to make people understand what is work, what is productivity, what is the benefits of productivity, and how to adopt best practice at all times to improve productivity in workplaces. So as an employer, be it you are in a position of a leader, manager, must ensure that in your workplace, first of all, you have a strategic plan. In your strategic plan, there should be your vision mission, and your vision mission should be communicated with your staff. And of course, further to that, there should be these core values. We have to advocate these core values. Sometimes when we go around, we see that people, they have lost this chain about values, respect, confidentiality, responsibility, positive attitude. Okay? These are very important, these values that we have to advocate in workplaces. These are some basic topics, and also how to deliver effective and quality service.
And that's it for this news summary. I'll see you at 8. Have a pleasant evening.